Ice cream, so good. I need more bullets. I need more bullets. Reloading. Whatever. Bye.
So, Devstream 176 has just ended, the first one of the new year, 12 years of dev streams, which means we got some things to talk about. Hey, what's up you beautiful feckers? How you all doing? Now, in March, we are getting our next Warframe update called Dante Unbound, complete with an Inaros rework, quality of life changes, and of course, our next new Warframe. This right here is him. Warframe number 56. I think it's 56. Dante is a bit of a weird name, I think, for a Warframe, but this is him. His lore is that Dante was a scribe who catalogued the story of the Orokin civilization, but he went missing and now we have to find him. So I'm guessing he is deep in the depths of Albrecht's labs, and that's where we're going to get him with this update. So with him being a scribe, it means that his abilities are done using a quill. So he's a caster Warframe who has an exalted grimoire ability, exalted book basically. He will also have a quill, so he will be doing some writing with his abilities, a scribe Warframe, right? Noctua apparently is the name of that exalted grimoire, which means we will have to mod it as well, no doubt. The idea behind Dante is that players will write his story with his other abilities. So one of the abilities Rebecca said was called the Book of Life, and another one of the abilities was the Book of the Dead, and casting these before the ultimate will allow the grimoire to tell that book's story, or maybe it charges up that grimoire's exalted ability. Now they showed an image of what his spells might look like, and it almost looked like it might have been a frontal cone attack, but we'll know more when we actually get to see some gameplay. This is the prototype animation of his Book of the Dead cast. It looks a bit slow, might have to mod for that as well. He also comes with his very own floating moveset, so he's the first, I think they said, male Warframe to have their very own moveset. Expect a full Dante gameplay reveal in maybe the next dev stream. They said a future dev stream, but he's coming out in March, and the next dev stream is of course in February. But today we learned what Dante is about. He sounds pretty cool. Also, he looks really kind of regal and chunky. He looks kind of like a primed Warframe without being a prime. He's Orokin even. So Dante is coming out, like I said, in March, and they're going to dive deeper into Albrecht's labs with that update as well. But he's also coming with his very own fist weapon, the Ruvox, which is a fist weapon that punches enemies with Orokin coins on the knuckles of them. So it also apparently evolves into another Incarnon weapon. This is the first Warframe signature Incarnon weapon. It is a set of Incarnon claws once it transforms, and it looks absolutely awesome as well. Now there is another new weapon coming called the Onos, which is a wrist-mounted weapon. That's what every enemy is going to say when you evolve it. So it's a wrist-mounted weapon, kind of like the Staticore, but it's going to evolve into an Incarnon arm cannon. Again, looks pretty insane. First Incarnon arm cannon, and it's going to go from a secondary to a primary, or the other way around. So it's going to be a little bit awkward, I guess, for them to work it, so it'll be interesting to see how this weapon works. There is also 10 new augments coming with this update that they didn't really elaborate much about, but there was augments leaked quite a while ago, so this might be them. Pablo did say that Loki was one of the Warframes getting a new augment with this update. There is 12 new tile sets also coming with this update, including the train tile set from the Whisper's Quest, which we haven't seen since. Also, they're adding a new disruption game mode with a bit of a twist. Again, they didn't elaborate on it. Also coming with the Dante Unbound update is the much wanted, and I guess needed, Inaros rework. Pablo said Inaros is the Warframe that he gets asked to rework the most, so that's what we're getting. Although the end of the year stat list shows other Warframes on that list that really need some love because they don't really get much playtime at all. Unlike Revenant, who is of course the most used Warframe, which is kind of scary because normally when you're the most used, expect him to get a fine tune, but maybe he won't. Now Inaros, his rework, don't expect it to be in line with what Hydroid's rework was, where he went from zero to hero. Those are Pablo's words, but Inaros is going to get some love. Pablo also mentioned that finishers are going to be looked at in the future as well, so Inaros is going to highly benefit from better finishers in the game, since his, I guess, his pocket sand allows you to do those. We will soon be able to combine 4 Archon shards into 1 tauforged shard. This is something the community has been asking for quite a while. I don't know if we thought it was going to cost 4 Archon shards for 1 tauforged. Maybe 3 might have been nicer, you know, allow us to not consume so many. But this is the mock-up image of it. So if your RNG with natural cells on the hunts are bad, then at least you can slowly work towards getting some tauforged shards. Now, in relation to the Netracell drop rates, which right now are really bad, they will be talking more about them in the February dev stream, so at the end of February. So we've got a little bit of time to wait for that chat, but they did mention that there might be an activity on the way that will help offset the grind for those Archon shards, so maybe a special activity that's coming that will have Archon shards as a reward. Now, circuit progress will save once you reach a certain stage of your circuit run. If you're looking for any of those Incarnon weapons or any of the Warframes, you will no longer lose all of your progress on host migrations or crashes. If you basically lose to a defense in circuit runs, you're not going to have to start all of your progress again. It's going to save your progress at set stages throughout that circuit run, which is a huge help. This has been kind of one of the frustrating things with the Viri since it was released, that there is moments where you can go quite far in circuit runs and then all of a sudden someone will disconnect a host, or maybe you'll fail because of something getting one shot, and all of a sudden you've lost all of your circuit progress, and let's be honest, you don't want to do it again, so you say, fuck it, I'm just going to skip it this week. Now, this is Styanax Deluxe, which looks absolutely amazing. Kind of Mayan, kind of Incan styled. At the same time, it is Liger's signature style, which you either like or you don't. We have a lot of these in games now, but I think this looks absolutely amazing. This is a new enemy type being added called the Gruzling, which is an enemy that will steal your loot and run away. Just what we wanted, right? The opposite of a universal vacuum. Some fecker just running off with your loot, mocking you while it does it as well. And it's also going to have some kind of mimic ability, which will, I guess, make mimic versions of itself to try to throw you off its tracks as you're trying to kill it. Now, Mirage was spoken about in a kind of roundabout way. The game's lighting kind of messes up her Eclipse ability on certain tile sets, which means rather than having to work the tile sets, because that's a lot of work, they might have to do a little bit to her ability. They might have to tweak it a bit. And they mentioned possible turning it to a toggle ability, but its damage would then have to be toned down since it is also the subsumed ability for a lot of Warframes. So not such good news on that front if you enjoy running Eclipse. Now, sticky corners in Warframe have been something all the way back since 2013, but they have finally been fixed, which means no longer running around a tile set, trying to turn a corner, getting caught on a box, and then having to check yourself, turn around and jump over the box because you shouldn't have got stuck in it in the first place. It was a kind of invisible sticky corner. So like I said, that's been done away as well. Cross save is still permanently turned on unless something breaks, in which case they'll close it to fix whatever breaks. They are doing a Fortuna Syndicate economy rebalance. They're reducing the amount of grind required for Fortuna's progression, which is continuing the grind reduction that the new dev team have been adding to the game over the last few updates, which is definitely welcome, especially for returning players. Now, they are also doing a stat audit for our arsenal, where they're going to clean up the stats that you can see and move the not so useful stats of weapons to their tooltips. So the stats can still be found, they're still going to be there for you, they're just going to tidy up the UI a little bit. Now, Dante Unbound will also bring Steel Pat bounties, more Steel Pat incursions, extra Axie Fissures are going to show up across the star chart as well, apparently. There is a Jackal rebalance pass on the way as well. Deviri is getting a quality of life push as well. The Star Days event is coming back in February, all the way through, I think, for the entire month to the 29th. There is a Valentino contest on the way for some rewards for people. The end of year stats page is live on Warframe right now if you're interested in that. I will leave a link to it in the description of this video. Atlas, of course, is propping up the bottom with Nyx. We also seen some Soulframe content, but I'm going to make a separate video about all of that. It was just a kind of burst of images and stuff shown to us at the very end of the dev stream. But that is the dev stream. Let me know what you think about the idea of Dante. Like I said, we haven't seen any gameplay of him yet. He is going to be a floating kind of caster Warframe that uses a quill to write his books in order for the Grimoire to then deal the exalted damage at the end of it. Have a great day either way. Have a great weekend. And as always, thanks for watching.